Hello and welcome. I trust that you are well. I hope everyone is well in the mind, soul, and body. And you had a wonderful day. Um, so I am going to, in this video, we are going to explore organizational or institutional abuse, what it is, and what are some signs that we can look out for. Then we would go into self-neglect, and we would go into a quiz. So today we have a full video, and we are trying to close off the topic of abuse in this video. Full disclosure, disclaimer, if anything in the video, because we're doing abuse, we explore these topics in an extensive nature. And if anything in the video under the theme of abuse, because it's so extensive, maybe a trigger for you, we ask that you exit now. Please stop watching. But if you are fine, we implore that you continue. While you are watching, we ask that you share this video with your community and breathe positivity, breathe education into someone's life. We also encourage you to share feedback, share any experiences that you may have that you feel comfortable with. If it may negatively identify you, please do not do so, because we do not want to bring any form of negative energy to your space, to your community, to your life. So please do not open up yourself to public criticism if it is something damaging. Okay, so again, I hope you're well, and I am glad that you are here. I am glad that we can share education and share knowledge together. And if you are in an abusive situation, please get out and get help. And I know that getting out and getting help is easier said than done, but we are all just encouraging you to formulate a mindset around getting help and getting out, not for you to pick up to the same time and get up and get out, because we know as experienced abuse workers, abuse advocates, as psychological and mental experts, that is not something that is easily achieved, but we are asking that you formulate a mindset that would allow you to get help and reach out to a trusted person or a trusted organization where that can aid in you escaping your situation in a safe manner. So today I'm sending positive energy, positive vibrations. I'm sending you lots and lots and lots and lots of love. And I pray that I can just meet some of you in a physical space, so that I can just love on you and just breathe goodness and everything, just a ball of positiveness into your life, and just watch you flourish as an individual and just watch your growth. One thing that that I love to see is the transition of people growing into the best version of themselves. It is just a good thing to watch. You know, when you can look back or you can look at someone and you're not doing it in a degrading or disrespectful way. But when you can look back and see that maybe I know in the Caribbean they used to have some public pipes outside where people could go and fetch water from. And the community, so a lot of people in the community would gather at these pipes in order to fetch water. Um, and it's good that when you can look back and see, remember when we used to be fetching water from the pipes or from the rivers, or when we used to go to the riverside to wash, and now we no longer do that. We transition from there onto having a pipe outside where it was more closer to the neighbors. And now from the neighbors, we have it in our homes. And now from our homes, we used to have like a stand-up shower, but now we have a bathtub. And from a bathtub, we have a swimming pool. It's great to see transition and be happy for people when they are transitioning. So as I said, today it's a pretty lengthy one, but we will try to go over it in a concise manner and without compromising our quality of output, um, and maximizing the time that by maximizing the time that we have. So organizational or institutional abuse is discouraging visits or the involvement of relatives or friends, rundown or overcrowded establishment, authoritarian management, or rigid regimes. So there are some people who are just afraid of their bosses because their bosses are very authoritarian in nature. They shout at them, they speak to them very poorly, they treat them very poorly. Lack of leadership and supervision. Maybe the supervisor or the leader is not managing or leading and supervising the way that the organization needs them to lead. Insufficient staff or high turnover resulted in poor quality care. We hear this a lot with in the nursing system, where there is not enough nurses for patients, and because of that, um, and we heard it a lot in COVID, during COVID, because a lot of nurses were off. They weren't were off sick. There weren't enough staff, and the high turnover resulted in poor quality because there was just not enough hands on deck. Abusive and disrespectful attitudes towards people using the service. We all hear this a lot with customer service in the Caribbean. They're disrespectful, they talk to you any old how. Lack of respect for dignity and privacy. Failure to manage residents and with abusive behavior. Not offering choice or promoting independence. So in workplaces, some people, some managers, some bosses, make their workers feel that they working there is like their only choice, is that they can't do better. They have to stay there. They cannot do anything for themselves. Misuse of medication. Again, this is in the healthcare field. Failure to provide care with denture, spectacles, or hearing aids. Not taking account of individuals' culture, religious or ethnic needs. So it's like let's say that you are in the hospital and some of the people are vegetarian, and you do not cater to that. You just bring chicken for everybody. And some people may say, but I don't eat chicken. And you say, okay, fine, if you don't eat chicken, put the chicken aside and eat whatever is there. But the chicken, it has already contaminated everything else. So then what? Okay. So failure to respond to abuse properly. This is usually happening in the HR department, where because HR is supposed to deal with abuse, and sometimes they don't. Whenever they reach the managers for the manager report, and the manager may brush it off, then we know that nothing is going to come from it. Interference with personal correspondence or communication, or failure to respond to complaints. So a complaint is made and it may be shrugged off or not be heard of. Some signs and indicators are lack of flexibility and choice for people using the service, inadequate staffing levels, people being hungry or dehydrated, poor standards of care, people, lack of personal clothing and possession, and communal use of personal items, lack of adequate procedure, poor record keeping and missing documents, absence of visitors, few social, recreational, and educational activities, public discussion of personal matters, unnecessary exposure during bathing or using the toilet, absence of individual care plans, and the lack of management, overview, and support. Then we go on to self-neglect. So the lack of self-care to an extent that it threatens personal health and safety. Neglecting to care for one's personal hygiene, health, or surroundings, the inability to avoid self-harm, failure to seek help or access services to meet health and social care needs, the inability or unwillingness to manage one's personal affairs. And now let's go into the signs. You see the picture on the right? That's what we're talking about. Even before looking at going into it, think about the word hoarding. That is what should come to mind when you see that picture. Some people may say you're nasty. So let's get into it. The signs and indicators, it's very poor personal hygiene, unkept appearance, lack of essential food, clothing or shelter, malnutrition and or dehydration, living in squalid or unsanitary condition, neglecting household maintenance, hoarding, collecting a large number of animals in inappropriate conditions. So you have dog, cat, rat, fish, everything in the same space. And they all poo on the floor and you have to step on over it. Okay, non-compliance with health or care services, the inability or the unwillingness to take medications or to treat illness or injury. Okay, so these are very pretty self-explanatory, but I will just briefly go over it. Sometimes you would see those videos, those TV shows that's called hoarding, and that's basically what it is, you know, just being at a space. Sometimes this comes with when people have been emotionally beaten down to the point where they become depressed and they have different mental illnesses. They find themselves into a state of self-neglect. You know, they just don't care anymore. You know, they have been so beaten down where this is what the end result becomes. They just don't care. They just wake anytime. They have animals that they are kept, that they keep close for friendship, and they just neglect everything else around them. Okay, so the fun part now, we are going to go through the identifying abuse quiz. Here we would, I'm going to ask you these questions and you take mental notes, or if you want to write them down, if it is safe to do so. Maybe you are alone looking at this video. If you're not alone and you feel that it may be a threat to somebody around you, leave the video and come back another time. But please look at these questions, and if you identify with any of them, then I ask that you please seek help. Okay? So do anyone make you feel uncomfortable or afraid? Are you often put down? Are you often put you down, humiliate you or make you feel worthless? Is there a constantly checkup? So does someone constantly check up on what you're doing or where you're going? They try to stop you from seeing your own friends or family. They make you feel afraid to disagree or to say no to them. They constantly accuse you of flirting with others when it isn't true. They tell you how the household finances should be spent or stop you from having any money for yourself. They stop you from having medical assistance. Do they scare or hurt you by being violent, like hitting, choking, smashing things, or locking you into a room, driving dangerously to frighten you? That is another one that we did not cover in this part, but we would go through it when we are looking at domestic violence and domestic abuse. Anyone putting you, like shouting at you, and then all of a sudden they start driving in and out of traffic and swerving in the street? Do you experience that? I feel that I'm speaking to someone. If you experience that, it is not okay. And that person needs to be stopped, okay? Because they don't have the authority to put your life in danger, okay? Do anyone apply pressure or force to you to do sexual things that you don't want to do? Is that you? Think about it. Do anyone threaten to hurt you or to kill themselves if you want to put an end to the relationship? This again is something that a lot of women in domestic violence situations experience. And point of correction again, it's not women alone, both women and men, that people in relationship experience. And this is as well very evident in same-sex relationships as well. Have your children heard or seen things or been hurt themselves? So are you in a situation where you see that your partner, whoever he or she may be, abusing your children, slapping or kicking them, locking them in rooms, and you have to go along with it? That is not okay either. Are they want to put your child on them or half naked while they're not properly dressed? This again is not okay. It is not something that is acceptable. Okay, and we cannot go along with those type of behaviors. So here if any of these questions apply to you, I am going to, well, they are on screen, and I expect that you would look at them only when it is safe to do so. And if any of these, if two or more of these apply to you, please seek some form of help. Seek professional help from agencies in your area, if there are agencies, from the police, from a teacher, from a trusted family friend. A lot of people have godmothers and godfathers. If you can't speak to your parents, speak to your godparents. Speak to your teacher, speak to someone that you know that would do something about it. And if you are an abuser and you're under the sound of my voice, we are asking you to seek professional help and stop abusing people. People are not, your victims are not your possession. They are not yours to take and do whatever you feel like. And it is not okay, because most abusers are cowards, and we do not accept that type of behavior, and we are calling you out if you find pleasure, if you find it pleasing, if you find it fitting to abuse and misuse another human being. So we are advocating for victims today and every day that once you're abused, once you are a victim, we sympathize and empathize with you, and we encourage you to seek help. Find someone that you trust, that you know would make a difference. Okay, so we would see you in our next video, where we would I have so many content I don't, but I think that we will continue on abuse. We would look at most likely domestic violence, try to piggyback and with a continuation of what we just of the signs and the signs and these questions that we just look at. Okay, so until next time, please be safe. Do not put yourself in any situation that does not mean you well, that does not serve you any purpose, and does not encourage you to grow. Remember that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you are loved a bunch. Okay? So please make sure that you know that you are valued, and you are loved by someone. All right. So until then, until we meet again, I um, hope the very best for you. And I'm sending you positive vibrations and lots of love. Bye-bye.